were raised by a single mother. When I was about 4 years old, our house burned down. Insurance didn't cover paying off that mortgage. So fortunately, my mom was a nurse and she was able to work a ridiculous amount of hours, some 80 hours a week, and pay off that mortgage while still finding us another place to live. So I've been fortunate to have a lot of really good role models in my life. Obviously, my mom being at the top of that list.
Okay. When all is good, why rock the boat when my child support's low?
Yes.
Okay. We know who it was filed by.
She always very passionately said, I'm going to be an attorney. And she'd look at me with dead set eyes, and I 100% believed her. And not only just becoming an attorney, but actually being a good attorney that is going to make a difference. Erin's passion sets the bar for everyone else in our office. So we're at home on a Saturday night, it's 8 o'clock, Erin's phone starts buzzing. It says a lot of our staff who's feverishly working to prepare for the cases that we're going to handle that next week. They share Erin's passion, and it's contagious, and it's been spreading through our firm.
All right, thanks for staying so late. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. I love doing family law. I feel like I really help people every day. I feel like we really make a difference for people, and I feel like families are benefited from the work we do. I started this firm with $2,500 in my bank account, and in the course of a year, I've helped over 200 families find a way to get through the turmoil that they're experiencing. I'm Erin Morse, and I'm here to help your family find your new normal.
Okay, welcome to a brand new episode of Legal Morse of Action. This is Patricio. And in a few moments, I will be joined by attorney Erin Morse. But as we begin the show, I do have to do a disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on Legal Morse of Action are those of the hosts and guests and do not reflect the views and opinions of the Law Office of Erin Morse. The information in this podcast episode is provided for general informational and entertainment purposes only and may not reflect the current law in your jurisdiction. By listening to our episode, you understand that there are no attorney-client relationship between you and the attorneys and podcast publisher. No information contained in this episode should be construed as legal advice, nor is it intended to be a substitute for legal counsel of any subject matter. Listenership does not constitute attorney-client relationships. So in a few moments, we're going to be going over a couple of things. Erin and myself will be catching up with all the fun stuff that we did during our break from the office. But you know, Erin, she never actually takes a break from said office. Also, catching up with new things that are going on here in 2020, not only with our firm, but also in our lives as well. And catching up with all the shenanigans and going over some questions that we get from you guys, the listener. And usually I am good with continuing on and bantering on by myself without the attorney. But hopefully Erin can hear me and knows that the show is on and live, and I am doing my best to keep it going. I guess for the time being, I am Patricio. If you don't know me, I do the marketing here at the Law Office of Erin Morse, and I do a little bit of paralegal work. Not as much as Kyle and Deletta do, because they are the freaking stallions of this place. And Mary, of course, when it comes to all the paralegal work here in the office, and our awesome and amazing receptionist slash legal assistant Dee Dee, who's been killing it since she's been here with us. And I can't fail to mention our associate attorney, Letitia, who, since working here, has brought a new level of professionalism and expertise. I am not laughing at what I just said, but I'm just laughing at the way you just came in. Thank you for coming in, Erin. I'll wait for your.
The link?
You're already set up. Yeah. One of the tabs should show you in there.
Here I am.
There you are. How you doing today?
I'm, you know, I am.
You are.
I am.
This is our very first episode of 2022.
Can you hear me okay?
I hear you loud and clear.
Excellent.
So let's see. We're here. I just have. Oh, Supa comes in saying best entrance ever.
Thank you.
Thank you, Supa. How was? So we took a break right before the new year. You graciously give us the holiday season off,
I know.
and
It's great.
It's freaking awesome.
I think we all love it.
I have a lot of paralegal friends who were suffering and posting like, "Oh, we have to work the day before Christmas Eve."
Well, the truth of the matter is that no one's really going to get any good quality work done at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I can either just accept that the work is not going to be done and let you guys be home, or I can, call it a day and be like,
Just be out.
goodbye, goodbye. So that's what we do. I think it's better, and it also puts. I feel like the value is that you can travel for the holidays and you don't have to use, your paid time off.
Correct.
So, because I think if you have family out of town, it's near impossible to travel during the holidays if you can't travel like 3 or 4 days before, 3 or 4 days after.
Mm-hmm.
The cost is just exorbitant. It's just impractical. So,
did you stay in Florida or head out for the holidays?
I stayed in Florida. I didn't, I did not want to travel.
You didn't want to travel?
No, I just wasn't into it. It's always, I think I've said this before, when I go and I travel up to Massachusetts, I end up on this like tour of food. So, in honor of that, I think I'm gonna go live on Instagram.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
But no, it's true. Like anytime that I travel up to Chicago, I come back at least 5-10 pounds heavier. It's like it's just like I don't know what it is. It's like, does the North have better food than the South?
I just think you're away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if it were the reverse and we came back down here, there'd be all these things that we'd need to do.
Yeah.
We'd need to eat and make sure that we had. So for me, it's just, I don't know.
What's what are your favorite things to eat the second you get off that plane or pull up in New England?
I always like to make sure that I have seafood when I go there.
Okay.
I like their specific type of clam chowder.
Okay.
It's
Clam
different.
Chowder.
Clam chowder. I like the clam chowder up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to make sure that I have
Did it go limp?
no. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I like this placement.
Cool.
Then I like to make sure that I have pizza because they're closer to New York, so they have that New York style pizza.
I think it's the water or something that just makes it taste so much better.
I mean, at least they'll tell you that, right? I don't know what it is, but I like to have that. And the other thing that I always like to make sure that I have is Chinese food. The Chinese food up there is just way different. It's much better. What else? Yeah, and then there are a couple of like they have a lot more of those like local. There's just one of them. There's a place called Lindsay's that I always try to make sure I go to, and it's just like home style cooking, but there's only one.
Yeah,
it's not a chain.
Oh, so it's like a mom and pop shop.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those that I always try to hit. I always try to make sure I go somewhere where I can get some linguiça, which is like a Portuguese type of sausage that I love. It's all that.
Didn't your mom make that for Thanksgiving one year?
Yeah. The linguiça stuffing.
Yes.
Wasn't it good?
That was delicious.
Yeah. You can only it's only there.
Now oh my God! Now that like you mentioning all that food, I every time I go up to Chicago, of course, I got to get a style hot dog, deep dish, but above all, the street corn. I don't know if you're. Oh, never mind. I'm taking away that entire segment because I just remembered that you ate corn.
No, I really do. Everybody has that one food that they truly despise.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's corn. It tastes bad. It smells bad. I don't know how people eat it. I like corn chips though.
Corn chips, okay.
I don't know. I just don't like it. And I like my mom's cornbread.
So how was your how'd you guys bring in the new year?
Um,
Or did you pass out?
Sam and Connor went camping.
Really?
Yeah, they went camping. And I decided that I would stay home because I have a 5-month-old.
No,
So
fair.
her and I she was sleeping. Real big party pooper. But yeah, we hung out home.
Did you happen to see the ball drop or no?
Nope.
Okay. Did you see by chance
I'm
any
a cord cutter. So
Oh,
I
that's
don't have
right.
cable.
But
I don't have regular cable.
did you actually see by any chance like the footage from the ball drop?
I didn't.
Good. I'm glad you didn't because it was disappointing.
It is disappointing.
The so the one thing that stood out to me was that Kia sponsored the whole ball drop in New Year in Times Square this year.
Okay.
I know, random info, but the font that and the style that they used for the countdown was just so generic. Like it took away from like the excitement of like they always have like cool graphics when the note like 5, 4, 3. No, it was just like a analog style 5, 4.
So it looked like it was 24.
Yeah,
That show.
right. Exactly. Thank you. There's a bomb in New York City, Jack. Gotta get it now.
It's fucking dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
I love that. I miss that show.
Filmed in real time.
The following takes place between 4:30 and 5:30 p.m. Any New Year's resolutions that you I know they're kind of stupid, but still what do you like anything that you have for this year?
Not specific New Year's resolutions, but I have like a goal for growth within my firm.
Hmm.
And then I have a goal of really expanding my social media and online presence, making sure that I pay more attention to that, and then enhancing my procedures and throughput within my businesses. And I want to expand to one more avenue that I'm not going to say what I want to do.
Okay.
That's a secret and under wraps. And when it happens, I'll let you know.
Okay.
And then I have another business venture that I want to start this year. So I got some goals.
Cool.
So
That's awesome. And I wish you the best. You are a headstrong woman who always meets her goals. And I know for a fact that you're gonna knock it out of the park.
it's a nice way to say I'm really bitchy and I won't take no for an answer.
Fair. Copy. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's true. I'm mad.
Oh, speaking of mad, that's kind of like the premise of today's show in regards to dealing with baby mama drama and deadbeat dad issues. And these past few weeks, like you and I exchange social media posts, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, and we go back and forth a lot. And there's this one dude who
he's so funny,
who dresses up like I don't know if he's making fun of his baby mom or just
no, it definitely can't be him making fun of his baby mom. He's probably making fun of his, I don't know, someone who he's seen be a deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know.
And
we need to get him on the podcast.
I was thinking about that today. Like, I want to reach out to him to see if he'll at least appear virtually.
It would be sweet. Obviously, we don't want him in person.
No, of course not.
It'd be wild. Crazy.
But I'm trying to remember is it JD or J Mull or
you started this and you don't have his name handy?
I did not have the name up and ready, which is my fault, my bad. But
what do with you?
Going on with that, the title of today's episode, I Wish You Would. And I'm sure that you've had a lot of experiences when it comes to, your cases, whether a divorce, a change in time sharing, child support, things like that, where opposing party or possibly your own client themselves have acted outside of a respectable manner.
Our client or opposing client?
Let's start off with.
Oh, all right. I have one about our client. This happened. This was crazy. We were going to a hearing holding her ex-husband in contempt for not paying his alimony.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm there. I had gone to a hearing before and the judge granted it. So again, we're going again. We're going to get this money, right? He moved somewhere. I don't know. He worked for an international company, but the company was local. You know, we were making this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I get there and my client has no shoes on. My client's the former wife. No fucking shoes on. She's like stumbling forward. Her boyfriend,
Uh-huh.
who looked like the quite character of what was going on.
I heard you say you said the word stumble.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna presume that these guys were.
She hurt her ankle and fell down coming into the courthouse
Oh no.
because she was drunk. So the deputy, I love it. They were so nice. They knew me. They're like, Attorney Morse, can you come over here for a minute? I'm like, yeah, sure. What's up? How are you, sir? Having a great day. How are you? You know, you always want to be nice to the deputies. They're the one who are going to save you.
Mm-hmm.
If this guy's coming over, whatever. It just obviously, and you generally want to respect people.
No, of course.
Anyway, I always like the deputies. They're typically really nice, really funny guys. And obviously they're helpful when you're in a courtroom. So I always am very good friends with them.
Definitely.
So with that being said, he comes over and he's like, hey, your client smells like a rusty bar stool. I was like, oh no, you're joking. And he's like, yeah.
Now
I was like, well, she hurt her foot, and I think she has an illness that she took medication for.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, that sounds like a good reason, but don't bring her in that courtroom. And I was like, you're right. So it was like the kind of whatever the hearing was on, she didn't need to provide testimony.
Okay.
And the other party just didn't show up. So I went into the courtroom and I said, hey, listen, Your Honor, my client has truly like injured her foot. And, you know, the deputies don't want to carry her in here. She is going to call so she can get treatment. She has like a very swollen ankle and she's twisted her ankle. And she's in a lot of pain. I was like, so she's right here. She's right outside. I was like, but this is what we're presenting. It is not an evidentiary hearing based on her. We don't need her evidence. But this is what I'm presenting. He didn't show. So at this time, we're just asking that our relief be granted. And he's like, I'll grant that relief. Hopefully your client feels better. Yeah.
Are you
so
even though you didn't no, I'm trying to word this properly. You covered for someone who was hungover or possibly drunk.
I mean, I had no confirmation to know that she was drinking. I did not see her consume any alcoholic drinks.
God damn it, Aaron! Turn it off for a second. I'm for real. Like, so you basically covered for someone at that point. You took care of your client, and damn, that's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've worked with you when you've had to deal with whether it's a belligerent client, a client who really doesn't know their head from their ass, things like that. And you've handled yourself in a manner that's like, it's insane how well you are when it comes to these clients. How was like your attitude towards said individual that morning?
I kind of tried to take it from this legitimately could be a medical issue,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that you have going on. And ultimately, I'm not a doctor.
Mm-hmm. None of that.
I'm not a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't do alcohol evaluations. So as far as I was concerned, I could see her ankle. Her ankle was very swollen. Okay. So I was honest to the court.
You had that going for you. Okay.
I was honest. She had an ankle injury and she really could not walk. Her boyfriend carried her out.
Wow.
So, you know, I was truthful, as I always would be.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that an ankle injury occurred, and that was the maximum amount of information that I needed to relay to the court. I did not need to tell the court more, or I suspect her to be drunk, because that would have been adverse to my client's interests, first of all.
Mhm.
And secondly, I didn't have a way to confirm that, and she denied it when asked.
No, fair. I mean, like you said, you're not an expert in alcohol consumption
Right. So
evaluation.
why
of it.
harm my client when she didn't need to provide, I was like, this is what we need. And he goes, that's really what's going on out there. And I was like, yeah. And the judge looked at me and kind of laughed, but I wasn't dishonest.
It's like when you're in one room and you hear the kids in the other room and you hear a big noise. What was that? Nothing.
Yeah. I was like, I know the deputies probably told the judge.
Oh no, definitely. They're back there having their coffee
But I don't,
no, of course
she
not.
had a legitimate injury. It
Mhm.
looked pretty rough.
Now, see that right there is, a good example of when a client.
Why you need a lawyer? Because had she stumbled in there looking like she did,
Mm-hmm.
the judge would have made some assumptions.
So like that right there is like a good example of one, why you need a lawyer, and two, how sometimes clients could be self-harming to their case. Okay.
I was scared. I was like, no, please don't demand her to come in here.
But no, it's now let's talk about like opposing party.
Okay.
In regards to like them bringing drama to the case. Now we've talked about petty opposing parties.
Uh-huh.
They're angry because the haircut was the wrong way, or are 15 minutes late for pickup. Things like that. They want to file motions for all that. But like, what's one of the pettiest things that you remember occurring with one of your cases from opposing party?
Oh my God. One of the pettiest things?
Yeah, one of the pettiest things.
Well, I had one, this was a long time ago. I had one where the wife wanted an injunction against the husband.
Mm-hmm.
And this was from like 2017.
Okay.
And she had the children. She brought the children to court. The children are sitting in the courtroom, which you can't do.
Yeah.
You can't do this. And so I recite the law on why children can't be here, can't be in the courtroom. They can't do this. And I asked the judge to give me a judgment based on the pleadings, because the pleadings didn't allege that there was any violence. She didn't say there was violence.
Okay.
She just said she wanted an injunction.
So just
they got in an argument. He drove away in their shared car.
Okay.
He brought it back and he left the car there. And she's mad.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't come home.
Oh no.
And she's angry. Well, they got in a fight and he just spent the night out. Okay, that's not illegal.
And he walked out on an argument?
Yeah.
That is wrong.
But he shouldn't see the kids. Like there was no violence. This did not meet the pleading requirements. So I asked the judge to dismiss it. And he did.
And because there was nothing concrete or
there was no violence. I even asked her, has he ever been violent? No. Did he ever threaten you to be violent? No. I was like, Your Honor, at this time. So at the end of that,
mm-hmm.
I take my client to leave, and she's at the top, and this was in a separate county.
Okay.
And she's at the top of the stairs. It's a really small courthouse. At the top of the courthouse steps, and she is cussing me out. F you, I hope you get your ass beat, and I'm going to find you, all this stuff. Like, the deputies came running out, had to walk me to my car.
Because you have such a great relationship with the deputies.
I'm telling you, that's who you'd be nice to. So yeah, that was a crazy circumstance. That was petty. She just wanted to like go after him. And she was like, well, I just don't want him to come over and try to see the kids. I was like, rude.
And we actually have a question similar to that when we're almost time for it to do our questions, because a lot of times, proceedings happen because someone's being petty, right? or
Mhm.
there's just a problem that just can't that there's no resolution to.
Mhm.
What would you say, like wrong or right on that one?
That's true.
Now, a lot of times, do you feel that the drama that ensues in a relationship could be resolved simply just by talking, or it escalates to the point where like you have to go to court?
I think that there's a lot of circumstances where it does have to go to court,
Hmm.
or one party. I think sometimes in agreements, if there's some interplay of like control or emotional or psychological abuse,
Hmm.
in order to come to an agreement with that person, the other party really needs to plainly just roll over and relent.
Okay.
They need to just give in. So sometimes I feel frustrated with our court system that gives such a push on like, just come to an agreement, come to an agreement, come to an agreement.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'm like, coming to an agreement means, you know, like I have one case right now that the only way for an agreement to occur is if my client waives child support.
Okay.
And I'm like, the court has ordered us, like there's a court order in this particular case where the judge literally said, it seems as though it would be in the party's best interest to reach an agreement. And I'm like,
So,
cool. Well, I can't discuss with the judge what happened in settlement negotiations,
mhm.
but I would like to in this case. I would like to be like, Your Honor, do you think she should come to an agreement waiving child support? Because that's the only, we had come to an agreement on everything.
Uh-huh.
Okay, including a $300,000 account that I'm holding. I
Oh
am
shit.
holding this money. It's in my trust. Like I'm holding, right? And he wouldn't agree because she wouldn't waive child support.
Ah, geez.
So I would like to tell the judge that's the reason. He thinks she should waive child support. So when you admonish her for not coming to an agreement, because when he goes to court, he's going to present a different story.
Mm.
I hate
How
that.
often do you see in court, like when it comes to like the court proceedings, where the story changes?
Always.
Always.
So you
And,
got to be prepared for it.
and a lot of times, like, how often do you have to go back to depots or emails of
I can trip people up in their own speaking. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what you said. Sometimes I do this. I'm like, so if I pull up this text message that says, and I read it,
Hmm.
this, I was like, it's going to show us that you were willing to agree. It's going to show us that this is true or this is not. And they like roll over a lot of times because
Now,
it's true, right? I don't.
no, no, it's true.
So that's my frustration, and I don't know if that means I'm classified as litigious, but I don't know.
Um, just a few moments ago, you had said that the court was saying, it would best interest of the court to find a settlement. Is that what you said, or how? What was the
Yeah, the
term?
best interest of the parties
Best interest of the parties
to come to a
to
settlement.
come to a settlement. What is that in layman's terms? Like, what is the court basically saying at that point?
The judge is saying, I don't want to hear your case. Your issues aren't complex enough, and it's clear what the resolution should be.
Hmm. So,
So the court has no idea which party was the unreasonable party in the settlement negotiations.
and usually there is one party guiltier than the other, right? It depends.
Maybe sometimes, not often.
Okay.
Not often. It's more often that they're both a problem. It's just true.
Now, so any other drama that like has ever stood out for you, like whether it's a colleague telling you a story or like one of the craziest issues that you've ever heard of?
I had an opposing counsel
Uh-huh.
one time who came into our office, at one point stole a soda from one of my staff. Went to the fridge, is like going in a lunchbox. It was crazy. He was crazy.
No, and I remember said staff member was extremely upset over the Dr. Pepper.
Anyway, they were talking to me, and we're kind of going back and forth and discussing whatever's going on. And apparently, he didn't like me via email or whatever. He had been kind of rude and to the point. And he used to always send emails,
Mm-hmm.
and he would put the entirety of the content of his email, which usually wasn't very long, 2 or 3 sentences, but in the like title of the email section.
No.
Yeah, he'd be like, please call me to discuss the child support figures. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then the body of the email was blank. I don't.
No, I've seen that before, and it boggles my mind. Like, how are you behind a computer right now?
Yeah, and he was like, Joe Larry at AOL.com was his email. He was doing just enough.
Just being basic.
Yeah. So, he had that going on. And then, so he's here and I'm talking to, and apparently he thinks I'm funny. And he's like, you need your own YouTube station. You should be on TV. You're really funny. And I'm like, cool, settle the case. Oh, it was really funny. So he's here like, you should be on YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now.
Exactly.
If you guys don't know and you're watching it somewhere else.
And also, like, if you ever get a chance to and have nothing else to do, check out our previous episodes, because believe me, there is so much you give great scenarios, and how would I say it? You give great answers to a lot of questions that we have coming in from whether it's from Facebook, from the website. There are a lot of situations going on that may not be directly related to you, but you're a hoot. You are freaking entertaining.
I'm a hoot. I don't know. I whatever.
But yeah, no, check out morse-firm.com/podcast.
I went into a career that typically attracts individuals with very boring personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know that I didn't have like a non-boring personality until I was here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's that I'm actually interesting, or if it's that in comparison to other attorneys, I'm interesting, right? So it's like, comparing me to, to concrete wall, I'm interesting.
No, you're extremely interesting. From the other attorneys that I know and do other avenues of marketing, it was funny because I was actually driving to work the other day with Kyle, and a lawyer came up on this on a YouTube channel that broadcasts live on radio as well. And
were they a Dusty Books lawyer?
Yes, immediately. Like, even like the conversation was interesting, with the radio host and the attorney, but you look at the video and it's just like you always call it, like the dusty bookshelf behind books. I'm like, and it's 9. It's not even 9 o'clock in the morning. Clearly, you're at your house. Clearly, you're not at your office. You are at your house. But he is in like a 3-piece suit, tie, gelled up like a freaking. I almost went wrong with that one, but it
like a used car salesman.
Used car salesman, perfect example right there. And we're laughing the entire time because that's all we kept seeing was the dusty bookshelf every time the camera would pan on him. And now, mind you, don't get me wrong, the information was great, the story was great, but it was just the presentation.
Was it interesting? Like, was he funny? Was he?
No, he wasn't funny.
That's why
he brought up good points.
I'm probably like mediocre average, and then compared to like your very to the point dusty bookshelf attorneys, I'm funny.
No, look, every interaction that you've had with the comics here in Orlando,
I make them laugh.
You've made them laugh. And like I said, we're in the works right now of getting some really cool people to that are going to be coming into onto the show to for you two to banter on. But we got some good ones coming in. But yeah, you're funny. Okay. I'm not saying that because you're my boss. I'm saying that because you are legit. You are legit funny.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. But we do have questions for you, and
let me do my job.
You gonna do your job?
Yeah.
Okay.
Suppose.
First question: does overnight visitation help lower child support amount, and does adding child to medical insurance help as well to lower?
So if you do these things without a court order, no, it's not just like automatically. No one's going to be like, how many overnights have you had? Right? You're going to have to ask the court and make sure you assert it, prove it, etc. setting that aside, in the child support guidelines, they're a part of Florida statutes. You're welcome to look them up and fact check me. Um, the amount of overnights does have an effect on child support, and as does the cost of medical insurance. Now, when you are figuring out the cost of medical insurance, it's important to make sure that you have the breakdown of individual plus family. So if you tell me that this information is on your paycheck, I'm going to scream. It's never on anyone's paycheck.
Mhm.
You have to get the information from HR, or you have to get the information from wherever you get your health insurance from. So and you have to actually do the math. You have to do the math of what the individual cost is and then what the individual plus family is to, you know, this minus this equals, right? It's MX plus B equals Y. So anyway, we have to actually figure out how much is the portion that's attributable just to the children. That is the amount for which you get credit.
Gotcha.
So it's not on your paycheck.
Thank you so much for the question. And thank you so much for that answer right there.
Pet peeve.
That was like kind of triggered you right there, didn't it?
It happens all the time where I'm like, hey, listen, this is the information that we need you to collect. I'll need it from your HR department, or I'll need it directly from wherever you get your health insurance if you have a private policy. And they're like, it's on my paycheck. And I'm like, no, it's not. I was like, okay, well, I've done this before because sometimes I can be petty. I was like, all right, well, let's look at your paycheck. Okay. Can you show me where it says the individual cost for health insurance? All right, where's the line item for just the children's cost? uh, it's not there? Right. Call HR.
The next question coming in. My boyfriend does not want to sign our baby's birth certificate because he feels he's going to be charged or have to pay child support, even though I am fully insured and we live together.
So no, not automatically, but not signing the birth certificate doesn't shield you from child support.
It doesn't.
No.
Well, in this state, right? Or just in general?
In our state, right? It's all I really know about.
Yeah.
I'm only licensed here.
Mhm.
But Patricio, how many paternity cases have we done? Just give a quick estimate.
Oh, paternity test or paternity?
How many paternity cases have we done?
Shoot, a good amount.
A lot, right?
A lot, yeah.
More than 200.
More than, yeah.
Okay. Have you ever done a notice of filing or ever had in your possession or needed to collect the birth certificate?
No.
Okay. Does the birth certificate matter whether I can establish paternity?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I actually had to think about that question because I did handle one for an adoption at one point.
Well, that was an adoption,
That
right?
was an
We were
adoption.
changing what the birth certificate said,
Exactly.
not paternity.
I'm like, I don't want to say the wrong answer.
No, you were right. You don't need it.
Okay, so
Let him do whatever he wants. You can still get your child support.
and the fact that he doesn't want to sign, like,
Rude, right?
What the hell?
That ain't really my kid. Okay.
You're man enough to put it in, but not man enough to dish. I mean, what was the term? Man enough to stick it in, but not man enough to stick it out. Like
Okay.
during
Okay.
the baby be born.
Oddly both dirty and paternal.
Yeah. I think I got that from a Wayne's Brothers movie.
Yeah. that all right. I like it.
Next question. Is it child abuse or neglect to not provide heat in your home for your children? When the kids go to their fathers, the house is constantly on 68 degrees, if not lower.
Well, 68 degrees is not child abuse or neglect.
Mhm.
68 degrees that's what my mom used to keep it out in area.
Yeah.
I was always cold, but no, it's not. It'd be child abuse or neglect to keep it at, 40 degrees.
Where do you keep the thermostat in your home? Just curious.
I am comfortable. So, we're from Florida.
Mhm.
So typically we need air conditioning, but so for air conditioning, I like 74 to 76.
Okay.
That's where I'm comfortable. But for heat, I try to bring the heat to maybe 70, 72. I could not put the heat higher than that. My husband would I think he would actually like boil and melt down.
Yeah, I need it around between 70. Well, in our house, we keep it between 72 and 74.
68 degrees, this is kind of a silly question.
Yeah.
68 degrees is, you know, not unreasonable to think that someone would put their air conditioning on 70.
Hmm. But
So,
I mean, well, yeah, I love the cold. And at one point of this office, I think I had the coldest office in the entire building. But I don't feel, I look, I'm not an attorney, but like, have the kids put on a sweater
yeah,
or give them an extra blanket when they go over to their dad's house. I mean,
yeah. Get them cool sweatshirts.
yeah,
They'll be fine.
not child abuse.
Get them a Snuggie.
When's the last time have you ever used a Snuggie?
No,
Okay.
I live in Florida.
Next question coming up.
I did like those Ugg boots when I lived in Massachusetts.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I had a regular pair, like the regular tan color, and a pink pair. I would do that.
Next question coming up. My ex future father of my child has been calling me on my phone and saying vulgar things about myself and my unborn son. So I blocked him. I don't want to change my number as I have done this before. Oh, wait, I didn't put the second part. She wants to know what she can do in regards to having to deal with a crazy ex / future father.
I block him. Don't answer your phone number. If you guys weren't married, he has no rights to the child and he'll have to take you to court for it. If he's violent or threatening violence and you believe that you're unsafe, file an injunction as soon as possible.
Do you feel like it's suffice enough for him calling for her to put a cyber injunction or no?
It's hard to get those kind of injunctions. Am I telling her she shouldn't? No.
Hmm.
But meeting the burden for them is pretty high.
Yeah.
If you can block him and he stops contacting you, you would be, you know, better off to call the police if he shows up and have him, arrested or removed and then get an injunction that he can't be around you physically, because that does include that he can't contact you.
Hmm.
So you could kind of two birds with one stone if you think you're truly being violent, but cyber stalking is pretty extreme.
Okay.
So I would
just
think
block.
that having the better protection would be if there's domestic violence and you fear domestic violence, the better protection is an injunction from domestic violence, because that has a higher arrestable offense. But a cyber injunction can be sought too.
Okay. Cool. Thank you so much for the question. Next one coming up is, here we go. My kids were adopted out years ago and somehow found me through social media. They are 14 and 16. Should I respond?
You can. Having the children having been adopted does not mean that the door has closed for you to contact. It is not a no contact order. So if they want to talk to you, I think you should respond. If you do not want to talk to them, or you know that you are a harmful, dreadful person and you're going to be harmful to them, leave them kids alone. But if you're a decent person and whatever your circumstances, my initial response is that I'm not here to judge you on. And I was like, yeah, it's okay if you speak to them. It would be okay to have a relationship with them. It's okay to have a relationship with their parents. Any of that, all of that is perfectly acceptable and not illegal unless there's a court order that says you cannot speak to your child.
Hmm. Now, in regards to adoption, like I've heard this term before, and I want to see if you can clarify open and closed adoptions.
Mhm.
What are those?
So an open adoption is where the adoptive family are willing to allow the birth parents to have contact and a relationship with the child.
Okay.
But a closed adoption is where they won't, right? Where you can't see them, you don't know where they live, you don't know their name, nothing. And that's mainly driven by the adoptive parents who have custody of the children, and they decide how open and closed it is, and it can begin open and it can be closed at any time for them.
Oh, okay. So you could alternate that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, did not know that.
When an individual adopts children, it is the same as if they had all the rights of having been born to those people. So just like if they had given birth to these children, they have all the rights to decide who's in their lives or who's not.
Gotcha.
So if, for example, I decided with my children that they can't talk to Patricio, I was like, that guy has a weird beard and you can't talk to him. So I don't want my son thinking he should have a beard like that. Um, I can do that. I have the right to do that, right? No one would ever question that. No one would ever be like, that's strange and you can't do that. The same relationship exists between the minor children that were adopted, their parents, and any other individual who is not legally their parents. So I get there's a biological connection, but that is, from a legal perspective, that is an emotional and social construct.
So referring back to this question, like let's say for example, if it was a closed adoption, but the kids were able to, crack the code and find them, like would there be any punishment or any like anything that could happen against the biological parents?
So I'll keep with the same comparison, right? So say again, I don't want Connor talking to Mr. Weirdbeard. And I find out that Connor went on TikTok and messaged him. The consequences would be whatever my parenting would dictate.
Oh, so like
until a court order is entered.
Gotcha. So like there wouldn't be any outside agency that could be involved.
And unless there's a court order, right? So
Okay.
if somehow the parents' parental rights, like, I'm not going to describe it, and I want you to provide no explanation about this case because of how important it is. But we have that one case where grandma wants to adopt the child.
Okay.
You know what one we're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That particular mother cannot contact that child in the future. And if that child seeks her out in 10, 20 years,
hmm
10 years while the child is under 18, that mom cannot speak with her child.
But once adulthood reaches, they can do whatever they want, right?
It's going to be a different inquiry. I don't really know what happens at that point, but I think there may be like a no contact order that will remain in place. If we would have to look at that court order and the
Ooh.
deadline on that.
So that's like a no contact order on behalf of said child
Right.
that could be enforced even afterwards.
I mean, it's whatever the deadline is pursuant to that court order in that case.
Oh wow, okay. I didn't even know that was that. That's really cool. I learned something new.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
So even I learned stuff on legal Morse of Action.
You're welcome.
Next one coming in. Can I choose a company other than the one in divorce agreement to prepare my quadro?
If the other party is in agreement to that, the two of you could agree to do something different. But if not, the reason why it's in your divorce agreement is so it is an additional settled issue.
Okay. So like they can't do it, but do it their way.
Okay. So if I were to go, my marital settlement agreement says I need to pay $1,500 in alimony. Can I just pay $1,000?
No.
No,
It's not gonna
that's
work.
what the court order says. But if you reach out to him and are like, hey, can I pay $1,000 since you got this really great job and graduated school? And if I have to take you to court, I'm going to try to get no alimony. But instead of spending that money, I want to reduce it to $1,000. And the two of you signed an agreement and do that,
Mm-hmm.
then you can do that. But you guys have to agree.
Okay. They just have to agree. Cool.
You got to agree.
All right. We got two more coming up. Here is second to last one. I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me with multiple partners before she got pregnant. Baby clearly isn't mine, but claims he is and is threatening child support. Could a DNA test save me from that?
Yes.
So in those situations, yes.
Mm-hmm. One of the things you can do is if she's allowing you to see the child, take the child to get a DNA test just on your own,
Mm-hmm.
get the results and have them handy. Hand them to your baby mama and say, hey, I did this. Bye.
How long do DNA tests usually take, like to get the results?
Depends on the facility, but 2 to 3 days. There are at-home tests.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if
Okay.
you have to send out the results. I don't know the details, but I know
okay.
there are at-home tests.
That's really really good to know.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I know someone who was a very close family member of mine who did that with his children because
Mm,
he wasn't married at the time and they broke up because of cheating, and he confirmed that both of the children were his.
he confirmed.
Yep, and
Okay.
he never told her he did it.
Okay.
He
Cool.
just went on his merry way.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to fight and have that argument.
Mm.
You don't win any prizes with it.
All right, last question, and this one it's a hot button topic right now because
Ay ay.
it's all over the news. It's affecting everybody, but I want to see what the result, what the answer would be. And it is my child's father just tested positive for COVID and is still asking that I drop off our son. We're both vaccinated, but I don't want to risk it. Is there anything that I can do?
You could file a motion, but by the time you get it into court, the issue of COVID is going to be resolved. Like his COVID positive status will be resolved.
Hmm.
Um, you really shouldn't seek self-help by saying, I'm just not giving you the kids, but you might be limited in what you have to do for a solution, and just expect that you are likely going to have a battle in court don't if you withhold the children.
Hmm.
So you kind of gotta come up with a solution. I definitely would get on the phone with your attorney and see what their options are and what you'd need to do, or if you're pro se, file a motion to suspend time sharing temporarily until a negative test is provided. There's your kind of what you do. It's a little complicated, but I would speak to an attorney for sure
Yeah.
to get some advice on how exactly to handle that.
I
I would hope that your COVID positive co-parent would be like, all right.
You literally took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, the hope is that they would be like, let me just make sure I'm negative. Let's not deal with this.
Yeah, let's not.
That would be the real hope. So if you're the parent who's COVID positive, kind of play ball, do the right thing.
Hmm.
That's really the summation of what you should do. Is the COVID positive parent should be reasonable,
Okay.
right? You don't want your kid sick, because if I were mom, I'd be like, cool, you can keep them while they're sick.
You would say something like that, would you?
Yeah, you want extra time sharing? Cool, you can have them while they're sick and home from school. I gotta work. Bye.
Oh man, but hopefully he comes out negative. Everything gets he gets better before things get worse.
Said he was positive.
Hmm. So we like food, right? Yeah, yeah,
Slightly.
we eat
I
every now
love
and
food.
then. Now I stumbled across a story earlier this week, and when I first heard it, I had I want to say PTSD moment, but
Oh, no.
it took me back to a time where we had something similar to this, and everybody was happy except for the company that brought it out. And I'm about to show you something that
Except for the company.
yeah, you remember Movie Pass? Did you ever try Movie Pass when it came out?
Oh, no, I didn't.
So do you remember the concept behind it?
Yeah.
$9.99 a month, and you're able to see all the movies you want at any
Right.
theater. And it was
Right. Any like AMC theater or any. Yeah.
AMC, Regal, yeah,
Yeah, they each had their own.
yeah, and it was great. And then the companies realized, holy shit, we're not making any money. We got to stop this, and literally cut everybody off. In a very
I didn't know they did that. I thought it was something you still could do.
well, no, AMC now has their own, Regal has their own, but there was a company
Oh,
that
that
did
did it for either.
for
Got it.
for all of them, and it was great. Of course, like the price for food skyrocketed at the theater, but like, hey, I'm not paying for a movie ticket, might as well. It is what it is. But a recent restaurant just came out with something similar, and I'm pulling it up right now. Now, we've all had an experience with this restaurant at a drunken point or another, and we're talking about Taco
Oh
Bell's
no.
new subscription called Taco Lovers Pass. Treat yourself to a taco a day for 30 days from Taco Lovers Pass, the Taco Lovers Pass menu, only on the app at participating locations. So for $10 a month, You can have a taco a day for 30 days, ranging from the crunchy taco supreme, soft taco, taco supreme, spicy, the Doritos, and all that good stuff.
So they're banking on the fact that if you can get one taco a day for free
Hmm.
every month, that if you're going, you're going to order more food.
Yeah.
They have to be banking on that they'll basically give away a free taco.
Are you a fan of Taco Bell, Aaron?
No.
No. I am on the same boat with you. I hate Taco Bell.
One time when I was pregnant with my son, so we're talking 10 years ago, I had a craving for tacos, and I used to work 11 to 11 at that time.
Uh-huh.
And it was after I got out of work. And I was like, I really want a taco. And I got their tacos, and I was pregnant, right? So you're going to have to take this with a grain of salt that you're nauseous and everything makes you sick when you're pregnant.
Hmm.
And I was like really sick from it, and I have never been back.
No, so even if someone was like, "Hey,
No,
hey guys,
I
I'm going to
can't.
Taco Bell. You guys want me to pick you up anything?"
I do not. I want you to specifically not pick me up anything. I will pay you not to. Yeah, so I do not go there. But Connor likes Taco Bell, right? He's 10.
Okay.
And he whenever he's with Grandpa Eddie, and he's like, "What do you want to do? Where do you want to go eat?" Connor's like, "Taco Bell." So Eddie at Tin and Taco, that would be much better, Kevin.
Way better.
At so he's always like, "I want to go to Taco Bell." So Grandpa Eddie laughs that, like, what kid, when they want something special, wants Taco Bell or McDonald's? And I'm like, yeah, we don't usually eat that. We don't usually go there. So that's funny.
I
I heard that blue drink they have. What is it? Baja Blast?
Yeah.
I heard that's really good.
No,
It's not?
it's
Okay.
not.
Because, I mean, you could get a Gatorade Frost.
Mm-hmm. Totally, but
Same color, so I imagine they're the same.
when
That's how things work.
when I would be out, my crazy bar nights from back in the day, because I haven't done that in a while.
Not that far back.
Not
right?
that well,
Yeah.
about a year ago. the lines at Taco Bell at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning are insane. They're just as bad as Chick-fil-A during the day. Like the cars just wrap around the Taco Bell.
I can't.
And I really don't understand the craving for a cheesy gordita crunch at 2:30 in the morning after you've been sweating your butt off at the club or drinking yourself off at the bar the night. But I don't see the connection with Taco Bell.
Back in my day, my drinking food
Hmm.
after drinking, I want pizza.
Same.
The best is like New York style, that big old thin crust.
Mhm.
That's what I want. I want a piece, and usually I want just cheese.
You be sitting in the corner like, so good.
This is the best pizza ever.
Best pizza, guys. And you go cerebral palsy crazy with the Parmesan cheese and everything.
Yeah. If you're really, and if you're nasty, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, you know what I like? I like they have like garlic powder.
Uh-huh.
That is my favorite. I like garlic powder, and I like the red pepper flakes.
I could do the red pepper flakes. I'm always scared that I'm gonna put too much garlic powder on the.
There's like no such thing unless you have a literal anthill. You can't mess it up.
No, I don't want to regret getting that pizza that I've been waiting 25 minutes for, because everyone came from the same bar to the same freaking pizza location.
See, that's why you need to be hitting, your dive bars, where your pizza joint is in in a small town. That's what I like.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I don't want to wait 25 minutes for that nonsense.
Or just get food at the bar. I mean,
no, they don't have New York style pizza.
Fair.
Pizza. Can't do mozzarella sticks though when I'm drinking.
No,
they're all coming right back out. Like fried. I would never sit down and eat 4 cheese sticks from the fridge. Like, fry them and give me marinara sauce. I'll take 10. I can't like, that doesn't permeate my head. It's one of those things that I have 1, 2, and then I gotta give it up.
No, my besides pizza, like my go-to, and I can smell them a mile away, are the hot dog stands. Hot dog stand right after, a good night of drinking.
I can't get past pizza.
I feel that if the
feel
hot
like
dog
I'm
cart
like-
is out there, I'm gonna take the hot dog cart over the pizza.
I feel like
any
I'm
day.
missing an opportunity if I don't get pizza.
And isn't it weird? Like that same pizza from that same location tastes different on a sober day.
It's real bad for lunch.
We're never going back there again.
It's real bad at lunch. No, I actually will eat it at lunch. I really like to have a slice of cheese pizza with a side salad. I like that. I like that.
See, now I'm craving pizza, and
It's
luckily
real simple.
we're nearing the end, Erin, and
Dinner time.
oh yeah. As we're wrapping up, what are your final thoughts with all the pettiness and the pizza that we've dealt with today?
Don't be petty. Don't be petty over pizza. I think that if people, all right, so here is my final thought. When you're going through a divorce and you are feeling incredibly emotionally charged, this is usually happening in the beginning stages of this. There is a lot of wisdom in the concept that this is going to buff out. A lot of these incredibly intense feelings of how do I resolve this problem? And he's so bad and she's so evil. Time heals these wounds. So I have a lot of clients who are like, I want my divorce tomorrow. First of all, the courts don't work that way. So we're at their mercy. Okay. And I think that if people could have just a little bit of willingness to see what 3 years down the road is going to look like, a lot of this.
Damn it, Kevin.
Damn it, Kevin. A lot of this is going to be resolved, and these issues and the things that you have concerns about aren't going to matter that much. One example is of a case that I have very recently where mom was like, you're going to wake up our child at 5:00 in the morning so you can have an overnight with them. And I literally looked at her and I was like, yeah, yeah, that's going to happen. They're like, but I'm like, he has 2 out of 14 days. Your child has to do this twice out of 14 days. Like, you're really that mad? You really think you shouldn't have time sharing because your kid's going to have to get up a little early? Does that feel like it makes sense to you? So, and in time, it's going to just even out. You guys are going to figure it out. Time is going to heal it. And not every fucking question, inquiry, and disagreement that you have has an answer. It doesn't have an answer. Sometimes you ask a question and I'm like, there's no answer to that. Get over it. The answer is get over it.
And with that being said, thank you so much for your time, Erin.
I'm out.
407-900-7451. We will see you guys. Where the freak is the button?
Wherever you find me.
Later.
What should I do?
What should I do?
What should I do?
What should I do?
What are my